doing cold outreach isn't the best way to get clients if you run a local lead gen agency. And this video is going to prove it. Now, you might be watching this and thinking, well, Sam, what is the best way? Because everyone tells me to do cold emails, cold DMs, cold call, etc., etc. Well, you're not going to like the answer. The answer isn't sexy. It's not very exciting, but it's the truth and it works and it will make you money if you implement it. And the answer is math. Okay, so let me explain what I'm talking about. A little while ago, we actually used to work with a bunch of different agencies and we would help them get clients for their agency. So we were like the agency for agencies, if you will. And the way that we got them clients was by running paid ads to generate those clients. Just for this client, for example, these guys worked with law firms, and for them, we spent $42,000 on ads, and we generated them back about $244,000 in sales. So that's about 6 ROAS. And that was just based off a 3-month payment term. Obviously, a lot of their clients stayed for much longer than 3 months. So realistically, that revenue number is a lot higher than that. And obviously, the profit and the ROAS is as well. And we worked with a bunch of different types. We have another guy, he works with dance studios. And over just a few months of working with them, we actually generated them over 150 free sales calls, or probably 152, because the top column is probably taken from the column header. Anyway, getting in too much into the details here, about 150 sales calls for this client over a couple of months. And I genuinely believe for local lead gen agencies, this is the best way. And the best way why is because the math just works out. So obviously, if you're watching this and you run a local lead gen agency, you probably run Facebook ads. So you're probably aware that they have become a lot more competitive over the last few years. I've been running ads since 2016. It was a lot of fun back then. I wasn't very good, unfortunately, because I just sucked at business, but it was very easy to run ads back then. It's a lot harder now. And you'll see that the whole info marketing space, the online business space has shifted into high ticket. One of the reasons why is to ensure that you have the margin to be able to run ads still and generate clients. So you just increase your prices so you can still afford to run ads to get clients. So that's one of the main reasons why it's really good to run ads to get clients as an agency, because your lifetime value, as long as you're good at what you do, is typically really high, a lot higher than if you are selling a course, for example. So, and because obviously it's like recurring revenue as well for your agency. So if agencies are able to crack the code to running ads to get clients, they have an unfair advantage over a lot of the other advertisers because their lifetime value is so much greater. So what I want to do, and this is something I used to share with the guys that we worked with, and just caveat, some of you might be thinking like, oh, well, why don't you still work with the agencies? What I found about you fuckers, and I'm an agency as well, so I can say that, is we were used to working with clients for the long term because we would work with maybe online coaches who had a big following and they didn't really have a clue about ads and they didn't really know anything about them, but they wanted us to run them for them. So that was great. They'd hire us, we would run the ads, we'd make them money. Once we started working with agencies, I found it was quite easy to work with agencies. They were very open to paying for my services. But after 2 to 3 months, even if we were getting them results, they would basically just take over and say that they didn't need us anymore. So they'd basically let us build out the whole machine. We'd write the ads, create the ads, build the funnel, the VSLs, all the stuff that goes into it. We'd run the ads for the few months, prove that it works, and then they would just take over. So actually the lifetime value for us when we work with agencies wasn't that good. And that's why we don't necessarily work with them anymore. But this process fucking works. So this is something I used to share with them, and I'm going to show you how the math works out and how profitable it can be. And you don't even need to be that good with ads to make this work for you. But if you're a local lead gen agency, you probably run ads, so you're actually probably okay anyway. Another reason why this process works so well for agencies is because the way the market has gone right now, it's becoming harder and harder to sell coaching and courses to cold traffic with paid ads. Because a few people talk about the trust recession. So there's a huge lack of trust right now in the market. And for someone to see a stranger on the Facebook newsfeed or on Instagram and just be like, yes, I'm going to pay them $5,000 for coaching, it's more challenging. I don't want to say it can't happen, but it's more challenging right now. If someone is going to see someone for the first time on the newsfeed and pay them a high ticket price, it's got to be pretty much for some form of done for you service, right? People don't want to pay for people with cold traffic. They don't want to pay for coaching. They do want to pay for stuff to get done for them. They do want to pay for services. They do want to save their time. So if you are good at what you do and you can help someone get a certain result and you do it for them, then you can still make a shitload of money with ads. And you would have seen a lot of the coaching offers right now, they're actually pivoting into more of a hybrid offer where it'll have some form of done for you element, at least at the beginning of it. And the reason why is because it requires less trust for that, because you're actually doing the work for them versus like coaching them. So that's another reason why agency services work really well when you're advertising to cold traffic. And then also just a second point, I'm going to get into the math in a second. If you're a local lead gen agency, you're typically working with, med spas, doctors, dentists, chiropractors, roofers, people like that. And even though they're becoming a lot more educated and sophisticated when it comes to like digital marketing, they're still way behind kind of like the online business, make money online coaching space. So type of offers around like, hey, we'll generate you leads online and Facebook ads, et cetera, for some people, that's still really new. And also, so that means that it still converts. It's kind of like back in, say, 2014, you could, run an ad being like, hey, I'm going to coach you how to sign clients with Facebook ads. That would convert really well. In 2024, it wouldn't work very well. So, but the local business space is still a little bit behind. So that's why, they're not sophisticated enough to go out and do this by themselves, which again is why your offer of I'll generate you leads with Facebook ads and, help you work the leads with Go High Level software. That stuff still works if you're getting to the right, in front of the right people. So let's look at the math then. So the stuff that we used to build out for our clients, it's nothing revolutionary in terms of the funnel structure, right? It's a fucking call funnel. Everyone has one, nothing crazy. Now, I will say our process for writing the VSL and the ads was unique, and that's why it worked so well for our clients, especially the VSL. We kind of cut it down to a science, but the actual funnel itself, standard, right? You run an ad, right? They go to a landing page, they opt into the landing page with a name and email address, they watch a 10 to 15 minute VSL, and then you get them to book a call. Sometimes it's actually less than 10 minutes, depends on niche and the agency and stuff like that. Anyway, we won't get into that. But I just want to run through why and show you how profitable setting up some form of call funnel and running ads to it for your local lead gen agency, it works. And again, caveat, we did work with some agencies that helped info product companies, and we did work with some agencies that work with e-commerce businesses. A lot harder to get those to convert because those are more sophisticated markets, which kind of links back to the point that I just talked about. The local business space is still a little bit less sophisticated than e-commerce owners and obviously like the info product space. So I wouldn't work with those two people if I was setting up this funnel. I would just do outreach. But for local lead gen, a little bit different. So you can see here that we would predict, and God, I know I keep giving points, but this is just coming out right now. Another great thing about running ads for an agency is that there's not that much risk, because at the end of the day, for your agency, how many clients can you take on per month? People will be happy with taking on 1 to 2 clients per month. Like when I used to work with the guys, I used to get them on like a sales call. I used to speak to them like, how many clients do you want per month? And they'd be like, if you can get me 1 client a week, that'd be fucking amazing, right? Even some of the guys that we had to work with, we had to stop ads for a few months because we get them like 5, 6 clients in the first month, and they'd be like, we need to slow the lead gen down. So the cool thing about that is that you don't have to spend 100K a month, right? You don't have to spend 200K, 300K, 400K like info product companies, like e-commerce businesses. You don't have to spend millions a month to build a really profitable business. Because again, the lifetime value of the customer, we were spending anywhere from like 2 to 5K per month with our agency clients who were agencies, and they were making great money. So we basically, the way I would do this is I'd say, hey, look, let's just say, for example, we spend 2K, right? 2K per month, that's nothing, right? 2K per month on ads, absolutely nothing. And let's just say, and I'm going to do like a worst case scenario right now, and then I'll do like an average one and a best case one. But again, the math still works out. Let's just say, for example, we got a $4 cost per click on our ads, which is not very good, But again, in some niches, like when we marketed for the guy targeting lawyers, that cost per click was pretty high. It would get up there. So let's say it's $5. And let's just say our landing page converted at like, let's just say, you know what, let's do 15%. Let's try and I've not got these numbers ahead of time, so I'm going to punch in these numbers and hopefully it brings out a decent figure. So 15% convert on the landing page. So that means we've got 75 leads at a cost per lead of $27, pretty high. But again, it's different to selling like info or an Amazon FBA course or BizOp, right? Your cost per lead is going to be higher when you're running ads for agencies. Now, 100% of the leads who opt in see the video because they just go straight to the video page. So these metrics are exactly the same. Now, the percentage of people who actually book in a call, let's bring it down to like 5%. And we can go lower to play a worst case scenario, but it also can be a lot higher than that. But let's just say only 5% of the people who watch the VSL book in for a call. And let's just say you only convert, I'm going to say 5%. And that includes no-shows and stuff. Again, for selling like an agency service, it should be higher than that. Like the guy selling for lawyers, our cost per call was high, but he would close like, I think it was literally 1 in 3. Like his close rate was 33% of the calls that got booked, he would close into a client because, you know, he was targeting lawyers, they had money, the funnel qualified them. Like I said, not tooting my own horn, but it was a really good VSL that we wrote for them. And, you know, people getting on the phone ready to buy. It's not like you're selling again. You're not selling the dream with like a BizOp where, you know, someone who's unemployed is getting on the phone with you. You're targeting business owners. And if you're targeting dentists, you're only going to get dentists with a practice on the phone with you. So these people have the money to pay. So I'm going to do like worst case scenario. If everything even goes to shit, right, you could maybe break even, right? So, and you're only testing 2K. And important to note, I've put the lifetime value here as 10,000. Now, for some of you, it's going to be higher. Maybe some of you, if you're not very good at what you do, maybe it is a little bit lower. So if you're really shit at what you do and you only charge, let's say, for example, like $1,500 a month and you only keep your clients for like 3 months. So let's just say that's 4,500. Then yeah, you're going to lose money. So don't run ads to get clients for your agency if you're shit at what you do. But if you're good at what you do and you can keep your clients for long and you charge a decent price because you're good, you can actually make a lot of money with this. So let's just say even like the lifetime value is, let's go for $6,000, right? So this obviously isn't good. But again, at the end of the day, like even if like everything goes to shit and you test this out and these aren't very good metrics, you still only lost $800, you know? And that's considering, you know, you only charge 2K a month and they only stick with you for 3 months, right? This is a shit scenario. But you still only spent $2,000 on ads. You made 1,100 back, you know, test it out, right? But what's interesting is if you actually get this set up correctly, you can actually make a lot of money. So let's just say, and we're not even going to overhype anything. Let's just say you charge 3K per month. No, let's do 2K. Let's just keep it at $6,000, right? Because I know that's kind of like, or it was anyway, sometimes they were charging like 2K a month for like local lead gen. And let's just say they only stick with you for 3 months, so it's just 6K, right? So what can we do here? When we used to work with our guys, we'd put the numbers into the spreadsheet and we basically would identify like, okay, where can we improve, all right? Well, number one, if I'm looking at these metrics straight away, we can get this cost per click down, right? Again, depends on the niche in the industry. $4 is high. So we can definitely improve that. So we would basically work with them to get their cost per lead, the cost per click lower, right? So we'd run the ads for them. We'd improve the ads, rescript the ads, rewrite the ads, new images, et cetera, right? So that would be the biggest one. Then I'd look at that and I'd be like, well, okay, well, the landing page can definitely get better. So let's change that to 20%. Especially again, when you target when you're targeting like specific business owners, again, it's not like a BizOp where you've got some like, don't want to be offensive to people, some uneducated person like clicking out of nowhere, right? Typically, if you write an ad for doctors or you write an ad for roofers or law firms, only those types of people are going to be clicking the ad. So a lot of them will opt in. So we found that the conversion rates on like an opt-in page, like a landing page would be higher, but let's just say 20%. 100% of people come in. And again, we can optimize the VSL here. We can change the hook. We can change the message. We can change the walkthrough. We could mess with the offer as well with the client. So let's just say we improve it to 7.5%. It's going to round it up to 8, but that's just the way the spreadsheet is. And then we can improve the follow-up process and the sales process and work with the client to improve their closing. Maybe we can improve the VSL. Maybe we can frame them more for the sell. We can even introduce the price before the call. We can do tons of different stuff. And let's just say, for example, again, we've got to include no-shows and stuff in this number, so I don't want to go and put it at like 30%. But let's just say, for example, we got like a respectable 10%. So you can see here, from just with the ad spend staying the exact same and just making some little optimizations with the funnel, that we've just taken something from only losing you $800, which again, it's not the end of the world, to now making you 4K profit, if we look down here, and getting you a free ROAS. So if I'm looking with this for my client, I'm like, okay, well, what can we do to improve this even further? Well, number one, can you increase your price? Because 2K a month isn't that high, but maybe it is 2K, right? But let's just say we up it to 3K per month, right? Because you include like the follow-up and you work with them on sales or whatever it is. Boom. Now we're making from 2K, we're making 9K revenue and 7K profit. Now, again, these numbers, they're not amazing. We could definitely improve this. So we could get this up to 10%, right? We could definitely get this up to 25%. We could maybe even lower this to like $2.50. And you can see when you start optimizing and tweaking and just doing the math and looking at it from like a bird's eye view, you can see now like, oh shit, well, I just spent 2K and I got 18 grand in sales revenue. Again, only considering they stay with them for 3 months, right? If you can keep your clients for like 6 months, you're just going to double the profitability of this funnel. And again, this is why the math works out. And then maybe you're like, okay, shit, I've just hired a new team member. Let's double the ad spend. Let's spend 4K, right? And okay, like the ROAS stays similar, but now you've made 32 grand profit, right? From doubling the ad spend. And this is not like I'm not overhyping it and being like 50% of people are going to opt in. You're going to get a 50-cent cost per click. Oh, 20% of the people who opt into your funnel are going to book a call. Oh, your close rate is going to be 50%. No, these are pretty damn average numbers. Like they're okay, like they're good, right? But they're not like being unrealistic. And that's why I said for local lead gen agencies, this for me is the way to get clients. Because you can do the cold emails, you can do the cold outreach, and I'm sure that stuff works, but it's becoming harder and harder and more competitive. This is a way to stand out. Also, by running ads, also positions you differently from everyone else. Literally anyone can set up send up an Instantly account and start sending cold emails to dentists being like, hey, I can get you clients or get customers or Invisalign customers or whatever the offer is, right? But if they see someone in the newsfeed who's spending money on ads and they've got like a professional funnel set up and they've got all this stuff set up, that positions you differently from anyone else. It creates a lot more trust, creates a lot more credibility, and they're just instantly going to trust you more than the 15-year-old who's emailing them from their mum's basement saying that they can get them clients. And again, these numbers aren't crazy, and it's a relatively simple funnel. Obviously, like main things is number one, your ads have to be good. Number two, your VSL has to be good. That's like the biggest thing. Got to make sure the VSL is good. And then obviously you have to have a good offer, right? If you're in the agency space and we're doing done for you services, then you need to have like a really good offer. And if you have all those things in place, then the sales part isn't that hard. Like it honestly isn't. But again, like if you were good at what you did and you kept your clients for 6 months, then you've just doubled the lifetime value. Oh, that's not right. And boom, you made even more money. Now, again, we're getting really high now with the profit and stuff. And again, I don't want to come over and be like, you're going to get a 20x ROAS when you start running ads for your agency. But local lead gen space, this is the way to stand out. And if you want to get clients without having to do the cold emails and stuff like that, this is definitely the way. And again, the reason why I'm making this video is because the math makes sense. The math works out. So if you're sick of doing cold outreach, give this a try. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.